well. These are two guys that I really personally look up to in this community as players, and I like them both as individuals too. I think we're in for a great treat, Game Boy.
Competition's begun. Here we go. Let's see what we're gonna start off with.
Forced black belt is the class tonight. Double fighter for Edgeworth at this point.
Yeah. Life? Okay. That was in the third spot. Quake and Brack.
Quake, Brack, Rub, Confused. Not really what you want to see level 1 black magic. Chain armor available early. Edgeworth's going to like that. He'll have 3 warriors that can equip that.
You know, it'd be a good idea if I started the clock. What do you guys think of that idea?
Clock, we're catching back up. Speaking of catching up, huge run, it looks like. Right in the beginning of the encounter table, FuchsiaFantasy hits the road, and he's already almost to the first chest in the Temple of Fiends. Edgeworth right behind him.
Wow, my goodness. Level 2 straight away for Fuchsia. Very good. And wow, I would love 63 gold right now.
Quake was FuchsiaFantasy and Edgeworth. Both players selected Quake as their AoE. Meanwhile, FuchsiaFantasy got wrecked by something. He's got to reset.
Yeah, I think he got picked off by wolves, and they were stinging, and it was just taking too long, I think. So Fuchsia just decided to hit the reset button.
Not much money, not much 63 gold in the first chest. Edgeworth now runs into the wolves. FuchsiaFantasy's already caught back up. Stinger from the wolves. FuchsiaFantasy manipulating the encounter table a little bit here. Making sure that he doesn't get that encounter again. He's caught back up now.
Oh, how about
lightning?
That's like the definition of roo right there. Or more like roo at about 200 decibels. My goodness.
Edgeworth has reset now. FuchsiaFantasy has reset. Lightning 3 from the wolves. It doesn't look like they like to use it a lot, but they've got it, and they certainly will. The good news is that they are not unrunnable, and both players have the information of it's only 63 gold in the lower chest. You can see FuchsiaFantasy skipping that right now. He just grabbed the top chests.
Yeah, and there wasn't much there either, so if somehow he loses to Garland, well, he doesn't, not with break.
Yeah, broken into pieces. Nah. Level 2 now for FuchsiaFantasy. About to rescue Princess Sarda.
And 1 canal to start things off, and the ship. Okay, so we have, so there's plenty of exploration that's gonna happen on straight away. Really, you can actually just go virtually anywhere. Yeah,
I mean, they could head directly to Onrak if they really wanted to.
Do they really want to?
I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of Onrak or Melmond. Yeah. Edgeworth resets again, headed back to the Temple of Fiends, going to pick up that Iron Gauntlet and 600 gold. FuchsiaFantasy has made it through now, doing a little bit of shopping.
Well, there's one thing I would do straight away, besides all this shopping, it's to go straight for the pirates. See what's going on.
That's what I would do.
I mean,
yeah, definitely what I would do. Could be a lot of different things.
Simple.
Could be the adamant. Could be the canoe. Could be a floater. Could be, a lot of different things. The crystal, maybe even. I like what Fuchsia's doing here. He is headed directly to Provoca. Oh no, I lied. He's going to Matoya's cave.
Oh well. I mean, you're right there, so might as well. Oh, look what's over in FuchsiaFantasy side. A quite strong shark. Gotta say that word.
Get out. Count. Of the water. Game Boy, the black belt just went down for FuchsiaFantasy. Fuchsia decided to have the black belt in the top slot. Does that tell you anything?
Yeah, it doesn't look like they're going to keep that black belt alive. Same thing for Edgeworth. Black belt went down, is there.
Edgeworth has picked up his ship and his canal now. He finds out this information. Fuchsia Fantasy heads directly to Provoca, does not go to Matoya's cave. I like to go in this flag set, in this scenario, I'd probably go to Provoca first, in case, like, that crystal came up, maybe, here in Provoca. We'll see if it does.
Well, looks like a lot of pirates are falling down the abyss here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's kind of. I mean, these pirates might as well replace that one fiend at top of Mount Ordeals here. But anyway, TNT for Fuchsia Fantasy. So that's okay. You can turn that in for another key item. So.
Right. Give it the ship. You got pretty quick access to it. The ship can move a little, pretty fast, and less encounters on the ship as well. And it could lead to something. Plus, you got a couple chests over in the dwarf cave. I would think that that's going to be higher on Fuchsia's priority list.
Well, how about exit, heal 3, and wall? My goodness, that level 2 is the place to be.
Yeah, it is the place to be. Provoca having it here along with warp and fast.
Yeah, warp I would definitely take as level 2. I wouldn't complain about fast either.
No,
I mean, it's
not one bit.
It's not the best. It's not the best spells to see in the world, but they're still very good, and I would buy it instantly.
Mm-hmm. Edgeworth has named his black belt. Black belt was forced. Remember, Dan. The black belt is in the ground. It looks like it's examining the dirt right now. So similar strategies. It's certainly at this point, at least, for both players.
I have a feeling, I mean, Edge is fighting on the water right now. He probably just wants to throw the black belt overboard.
Overboard. Fuchsia Fantasy is doing what it was that we thought he might do. He's going to check a couple chests in the dwarf cave and turn in the TNT for an item.
Yeah, and hey, if it winds up being the key, you can check those boxes straight away.
Or it could be the adamant, who knows? And he'd be right there.
Or it could be a bridge.
Could be a bridge. It very well could be.
Oh, how about an herb? So more fetch questing coming up.
Good. I mean, you can't know this, Game Boy, but good routing so far. He hasn't had to double dip any locations, and he's kind of had his hand forced a little bit too, as will Edgeworth.
Yeah.
So that's good. Oh, he's not going. He's headed to Melmond.
Oh.
Okay.
No slab was picked up. No. Allie has not lit up. Oh, wants to know about the level 5. So I was gonna say Allie did not light up the slab. So I was like, no, he's not going for that. But I think he just wants spell information.
Life 2 in the 4th slot's going to be White Mage, White Wizard, locked. Ice 3 is going to be locked to the Red Wizard in the Black Magic area. Edgeworth taking on his pirates now. He's going to wipe them out with Quake.
Yeah, those pirates are going to go, arr!
Arr! Fuchsia Fantasy is on the boat headed south from Melmond. I would think it looks like he might be going toward Crescent Lake. We'll see if he dips around through back toward. He does not. Had he headed east here, after going south, he could have stopped in Elfland, used the southern dock, jumped in and turned in the herb, but he elects not to.
Yeah, very interesting, but probably just doing a little reconnaissance right now, I would think. We're gonna try quaking these trolls.
Fallen into crack. One troll is down now for Fuchsia Fantasy. Brack from Fuchsia broke it into pieces. Great usage. Level 5 for Fuchsia Fantasy on his way to Crescent Lake.
Oh,
in
wow.
In Provoca, we did have our vendor item sighting. It is the tail. It's for sale in Provoca. I think it was about 12,000 gold.
Yeah, that's right. It was 12,000 gold. I did notice that, but it just didn't come to my mind that I should have said something there. Uh-oh. Fee, fi, fo, fum. I see a giant over on Fuchsia Fantasy side.
Unrunnable Troll Bull combination here.
Ew.
Interesting. I don't know if Fuchsia saved or not. I might look to reset out of this at this point, but no. Quake fell to crack. What do I know?
Dang.
We talked about this earlier, Game Boy. These guys are they're both premier players, and Fuchsia Fantasy showing us right now.
And now the two trolls and the bull are just like, all right, fine, you show off. Do it again.
Edgeworth has not gone to the Dwarf Cave to turn in his TNT. He headed directly to Elfland. So he does not have his herb at this point in time, but he might be headed that way now. Fuchsia did have to reset. He did not save. He sees the herb in his inventory. Does he head east here now? He does not.
Yeah, so unfortunately, round 2 went to the trolls there, so... Yeah, let's try this again. Wow, a lot of mandatory battles hanging out outside Crescent Lake here.
Fuchsia just had to reset again. Against an opponent like Edgeworth, you don't want to do this. My assumption is he did not pick up any tents or cabins?
Yeah.
Or couldn't afford it, maybe?
Maybe they haven't been available? I haven't actually noticed.
I thought there was some in Elfland. FuchsiaFantasy trying a different strategy now. Looks like he took the really long way toward Elfland. Edgeworth turning in his TNT, he'll pick up the herb. We'll see if he heads directly towards Elfland.
Here,
Final Fantasy fans, yeah, thank you for joining us and bringing us into your home tonight. Randomania, our tracker, Ali Gerbrap, our restreamer, Game Boy F9, our wonderful, wonderful commentator, Game Boy F9. I'm Will Cleosis. Thank you for having us for this great match. It's going to be an absolute treat.
Yeah, indeed, and this has been a very good race so far. Now Fuchsia's turning in that herb. Wake up, Prince! Give us something! Oh, like the crystal. More fetch questing coming up.
You know, Elfland's got a lot of different... They got multiple magic shops at Armor Shop and Armor Shop. You'd think maybe the Elf Prince could see a doctor about his sleep problems. He's been falling asleep, and I've been waking him up for years.
Oh, level 3 Duke. I will gladly take level 3 Duke. Alright, let's see, items. Well, he only has 270 money. Wow, 1450 for a house. Expensive.
So that's kind of an early storyline here. There's not a lot of cash flow going on. The chests haven't been too lucrative.
No. Now, did Edgeworth pick up the herb? Turned that in?
He did.
Yes, he did. So he's got a crystal now. Oh,
FuchsiaFantasy continuing to not do what I think a lot of people would do here, a conventional go ahead, and he didn't head to Elfland, turn the herb. He's got the crystal. He doesn't want to loop back around. He's going to head to Crescent Lake, the Sages, get some more information, and try to get that incentivized item. Edgeworth, meanwhile, is doing it a little bit more conventionally. He's headed towards Matoya's Cave to turn in that crystal. We'll see what happens there.
Yeah, I swear, I feel like in a way we're playing Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise, because it's like there are two different branches going on here, and which branch is better right now? I mean, I don't know. Well, we're about to find out here.
FuchsiaFantasy has made his way now to Crescent Lake. Edgeworth resets back on his way toward Matoya's Cave.
Yeah,
multiple incentivized items coming right up.
Finally, a tent was found over in Crescent City for only 81 money, so Fade, level 6.
There's a couple bucks for Edgeworth. Not a lot. Okay, there we go. 6,000 gold at least. Very good. Oh, God.
There's the Sparkover Bridge. And the key for FuchsiaFantasy. So FuchsiaFantasy wins that little exchange.
Mystic Key. Slight early advantage for FuchsiaFantasy now, making that move over to Crescent Lake.
So real quick, the Sparkover Bridge is actually a carryover from Dragon Warrior Randomizer. It basically means a bridge that is totally useless because both players already have a ship.
Dragon Warrior Randomizer? Our little birdie told me something, Game Boy, about a big tournament coming up.
Oh yeah, we got that coming up real soon. We got 33 players. There's the link for it if you're curious about it. But there's the Discord and the link to it. So, 33 players already, and we've got a lot of people from Final Fantasy carrying over to Dragon Warrior Randomizer. So it's gonna be real fun coming up. That tournament starts in 3 weeks' time.
And similar design to this tournament that we have going on right now with Final Fantasy. A few Swiss rounds, then a bracket stage.
Yeah, that's correct. It's a 5-round Swiss, and then we're gonna have a bracket stage. Pretty much. That's the cliff notes of that. Fuchsia Fantasy seems a little bit stuck here, and probably not finding any good grind targets right now.
Yeah, trying to get into, you know, like a second, perhaps even a third gear, because both players right now they're barely past neutral. It seems like because of the item placement.
Yeah, well, fortunately, Edge has been able to pick up some cabins, so at least he's able to get set up for those no fear resets if it comes to that.
For the story so far, we're nearing the 16-minute mark. Magic, okay, pretty good. Nuke at level 3, Bracket level 1, Quake. Money has been tight. The tail is for sale. We let off with the bridge and the canal and the ship opening up the world, but I don't know if that's really how you want to open up the world.
Nah, but I'll tell you what, nice defeat of those 3 Peds from Fuchsia Fantasy. How about 2 levels for all characters there? That's nice.
Oh yeah, take that anytime you can get it. Edgeworth has made his way to Crest Lake now. He's going to get his Mystic Key. We'll see what type of strategy he decides to employ once he gets that item.
Well,
Ishbin Maya. Question from Ishbin Maya. Yes, the vendor item has been... It is the tail. It is in Provoca, and I believe it's about 14,000 gold.
I think, yeah, somewhere around there. All right, 1 key for Edgeworth. Now, what's Fuchsia doing here? Oh yeah, I gotta take advantage of that key. Let's see what's in these boxes. Oh, how about the adamant? Now you can turn in the adamant, but you might not get the Excalibur. You might get something else. So, wow.
Yeah, the Excalibur is definitely 100%. It's going to be in a chest somewhere, not incentivized out there in the world. The good news with getting the adamant here and checking the Elflin Castle locked area is that he can go to Dwarf Cave, use his Mystic Key, check those chests, and turn into the adamant all at the same time.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if Fuchsia doesn't take advantage of that real soon. Now there are 4 chests, 3 or 4 chests where you have to hunt down because they might have certain key items. So I don't think we found any of those yet, have we?
Yes, the adamant being located loose is definitely one of them. It is Final Fantasy a fetch quest. So 1 down.
Yeah, 1 down, 3 to go.
Mm-hmm.
Or 2 to go.
If I was to guess here, what do you think, Game Boy? What do you think the adamant's going to yield? I'm going to guess the canoe.
The canoe? Well, let's see. What's the most troll we've got now?
Cube? Maybe? Or Rod. Rod would open up the Urn Cave to go deeper in there, perhaps.
Yeah, well, that's not that trolly. How about the troll Edgeworth is dealing with, though? Let's talk about that troll. Hey, the troll did its job. Edge reset, so there you go. Yeah, now Edge is just like, yeah, forget this. I'm not fighting any of these darn trolls.
We're nearing the 20-minute mark. I've studied Edge, Game Boy. Believe me, I had a match with him. He really dismantled me and took me apart. I studied and studied and studied him, trying to find some sort of crack, some sort of weakness. It is the cube.
Yeah, there you go. Well, you're halfway through the you're halfway up the air tower.
Yeah. And in studying Edgeworth, I learned one thing. He can adjust so well that is that what I think it is? Oh! Ho ho ho!
Oh my goodness.
Sunsword. Okay.
The Vorpal, the Sun Sword, the Gold Bracelet, the Pro Ring, and the ribbon.
Ribbon? Wow.
Wow.
The Dwarf Cave with a whole bunch of riches. One endgame sword and one very good middle game sword in the Vorpal and the Sun Sword, a gold bracelet, a coveted ribbon as well, and a Pro Ring. Edgeworth headed there right now. He's going to pick that up as well. Edgeworth leveling the playing field here.
My goodness. Like, the Vorpal is arguably the strongest sword out there because of its very high critical rate, even though it's not as strong as Excalibur and Mass Immune. The ribbon, you're immune to everything and you get added resistance to everything. The gold bracelet is very high defense with very little evasion penalty. Oh, and we'll tack on an opal shield over in Oh, and an opal ring. Opal, what the devil? Opal ring is even stronger than the gold bracelet. This is insane.
Yeah. I can't quite tell. You would know those icons better than I would. Is it a shield or a bracelet on the opal?
Both. He got both the opal shield and the opal bracelet.
Okay. Wow. Okay, so the fortunes have turned a little bit here now. Gear. We've definitely got some good gear early, 21 minutes into this game.
Oh, and ice armor while we're at it. I mean...
Yeah. Small, it's just ice armor, no big deal. We'll take it.
Well, I mean, we're still a bit cash strapped. You could sell the ice armor for a little bit of money.
It's an option. Many players have utilized that before. FuchsiaFantasy heading towards Matoya's cave now. Not going to be too happy. He's going to turn in that crystal and get a bridge. If he didn't save, he might even quickly just reset out of there and try to move on with his adventure.
All I know is that Fuchsia's poisoned. Somebody over there is poisoned.
Although 7,000 or so, give or take, gold might lead Fuchsia to walk this out, and he is going to take.
Oh, nope. Never mind. Okay, Edge is going to check out the Temple of Fiends here. And gonna have some fun with gargoyles who, they hit a bazillion times, but they hardly do any damage. Well, Fuchsia's gonna do the same thing. Wow, this literally is neck and neck. I don't know. I guess Fuchsia does have the lead only because I believe he's at a higher level than Edge.
That's all I could come up with.
Oh! Wow.
Okay, Game Boy F9 talked earlier about 3 to 4, essentially 4 loose items in chest. We've located one. It was the Adamant. It was locked in Elfland Castle. We've located our second one of the most important ones. It's the Floater. It was locked in the Temple of Fiends upper right chest. Now, the status quo. That's what both players want to change. They want the airship. However, you can get it with the Floater, but using the Floater and getting the airship is canoe locked. The canoe now becomes the focus of both players and the key to opening up this game.
Oh my, you're right. I didn't think about that. Wow. What a bizarre seed this is.
But, bizarre is a really good way to put it. Welcome to the sweet, sweet, sweet 16 2018 Final Fantasy Randomizer Spring Tournament. Two great players going at it, and things are just getting a little bit weird here.
Yeah, well, this I will have to say is what makes this randomizer so fun. It's not just, here's the Mass Immune and here's Nuke and you get to wipe everything out at the beginning of the game. It's just these really fun, bizarre, sometimes really challenging elements come up. That's just what makes this game so fun.
Oh, it's great. It can be. It's frustrating, Game Boy. It's exhilarating, and you just keep coming back for more because we all love this game so much, and that's the the core and the commonality that we certainly all have, as well as these two players.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Fuchsia dealing with more sharks. Well, now what? We're down to, what are we down to? I guess we're down to Earth Cave? Is that it?
We've also got Marsh. We've also got
yeah.
What do you do here, Game Boy? You've got the Mystic Key that gets you the 3 other chests in Marsh. I forget the enemy with the Lightning 3. Wolves.
Yeah, they just showed up.
They are right there.
Roo.
Do you attempt to, because there's wolves on Earth floor, the second floor of Earth. Do you go there? Do you head towards Marsh? There's wolves down there. What do you do?
I think I would do what Fuchsia's doing. I think, oh no, maybe not. I might go to the castle just to check those 3 boxes there, but after that, I would just go ahead and go to Marsh, because it's just the regular wolves with that lit 3, so hopefully the Gerwolves and the werewolves are a little bit friendlier.
You know what? I'm pretty 50-50 personally. Access to warp at level 2 really opens up the options to there being no, at this point in time, wrong play. Given that Fuchsia is on foot over here by the Northwest Castle, it leads me to believe that he'll go down there and take a look in Marsh Cave. And he's headed south, Game Boy. He is going to the Marsh Cave.
Oh, man. Here we go. Uh-oh. Sleep. Pretty much. So I play a lot of Dragon Warrior, as many of you know.
Mm-hmm.
Once you see that a monster is doing something special, like sleep, even though it's very innocent, you know that it could very well be followed up with something really nasty.
Oh yes.
The
big time. I had that happen the other day.
Yeah. Wolves were exhibit number 1, right there, with the very innocent stinger, and then lit 3. See ya.
A-B, see you later, as my good friend and co-commentator Will Bloodworth would often say.
Yeah. Alright, so Fuchsia has passed on the Marsh Cave for now, and going for Earth. Here we go.
Either play, with the access to warp. Edgeworth honing in on that decision now. Toying around with his armor. Tough decisions to make with ice armor, gold bracelet, opal bracelet, a ribbon, and he's got a sun sword as well. That's got to be tough life.
One cabin. Let's try that. Let's try a different branch. When they saw monsters strike first, it's just like, yeah, no fair. Resetting.
If I'm not mistaken, we talked earlier about 4 loose items. We said we found 2 of them. I would imagine that our next key progression item, more than likely the canoe, is going to be found in a chest somewhere.
Well
right now the only options we have are the aforementioned Earth and Marsh Cave at this point, but that could open up. The chime could be dug out. We don't know.
Yeah, well, if the canoe isn't dug up from one of these 2 locations, I think does that mean Dead Sea? Because I don't think there's anywhere else you can go.
Yeah, no kidding, right? The ruby could also be an option over a ruby-locked fort chest. Sarda's Cave is an incentivized.
Oh yeah, that's true. You can do ruby.
Right. Edgeworth has headed to the Marsh Cave now. Diverging paths finally. Let's see which gamble is going to pay off.
So far, neither.
Nada. Edge Figaro, welcome to the chat room. The number 1 ranked player, Final Fantasy Randomizer for SRL points. Wonderful, wonderful gentleman. He's up there in the top 3 with our 2 players tonight, asking for a recap. Looks like we've got time for that. The King gave the canal, Princess Sarah gave the ship. Bicky, after his pirates were defeated, gave the TNT. Turning in that TNT led to the herb. The tail is the vendor item. It's for sale in Provoca. 14,000 gold. The herb was turned in and gave the crystal. The crystal turned in gave the bridge. Circle of Sages had the key. The adamant was locked in Elfland Castle. Turning that in led to the cube. The floater has been located via the Mystic Key. It was in the Temple of Fiends.
And we're looking for a canoe. That is how bizarre this seed has become. I mean, usually when you see that floater, it's like, away you go, have a nice day. But not here. Mandatory bones on Edgeworth's side.
So far, neither player finding much. No rod for FuchsiaFantasy. He'll have a few more shot at chess, though. And a longer walk. Edgeworth now starting to hone in on the bottom of Marsh Cave. Remember, he's got the Mystic Key now, so he can get those extra 3 chests.
Ooh, 12,560 money and a Zeus gauntlet, too. So if it turns out that Earth Cave isn't the path to go, at least he's got a decent item.
Edgeworth now in the depths of Marsh Cave.
Not many boxes to go. We're about to find out which way is correct.
Edge is headed to the upper right-hand corner, the off chest.
Oh, I noticed that he's stopped for a second. Maybe
Yeah.
not too familiar with this area right now, just because nobody's been using it throughout the Swiss round.
A lot of dust in the Marsh Cave being kicked up by Edgeworth right now. I can see it. It's all over the screen. No Oxyale, so on-rack won't get us very far. We found the vendor item. No chime to get in the Mirage Tower. So one of these 2 locations, no canoe to get into Ordeals. So one of these 2 locations is going to yield us something.
Yeah. Well, a cap is definitely not that something.
No. It's not even a professional.
Yeah, I mean... yeah, you're right. No.
FuchsiaFantasy's down to 2 chests he can check now here in the Earth Cave. Excuse me, 3, and he got it!
Oh, no. Big lead for Fuchsia.
We knew this was going to happen. One player was going to open up a margin of a lead here. Not an advantage, definitely a lead. The gamble for the Earth Cave pays off for FuchsiaFantasy. We'll see if he just goes ahead and he gets out of here with his canoe. And yes, he does. He uses warp, and he's on the road now. He's headed to Gourd and get his airship.
There's one chance Edge has, and if there's a awesome item in these last two or 3 boxes.
Maybe a dragon armor, a ribbon. They've got the Vorpal, perhaps the versatile Mazmung. The defense sword would be great.
Or it could be the chime. There's still one box.
There's
still one item left.
One more loose item in the world. A lot of different places it could be. A lot of different things it could be.
Yeah, and down here in chat, like if there is indeed that super item here, definitely watch out. In that case, I would then say throw away that lead and give Edge the lead instead. Let's find out. No, not that box. Oh.
Marsh Cave is a bust for Edgeworth right now. He knows the location of the next progression item. He's going to get there as fast as he can.
Ooh. Quake not doing the job that time. Ooh, skin.
Rux, yeah, they're trying to. These enemies are trying to run amok of Edgeworth.
Alright. Last chance here, I think. Oh no, might have 2 boxes left, but he's either got 1 or 2 boxes left. Oh. Well, I've seen worse pickoffs. Oh, toxic. Watch out. Oh, okay.
Boy. Could have spelled disaster for Edgeworth there, but he hasn't really found a lot to begin with. But
Yeah.
FuchsiaFantasy has picked up his airship. You saw him getting all those heal potions. He was preparing for this dive right here into Volcano. I can only think he'll probably just do the floor 2, rate it as much as he can, perhaps pick up his tail, and get out of here.
Mm-hmm. And now Edge is going to check out the castle. I'm going to get bad news there as well. Unless you consider the silver bracelet good news, which I don't.
Nah, I don't either. FuchsiaFantasy decides to skip what I like to call the hairpin chest, guarded by fires at this point in time. You can take a look at that later, but it's a little bit out of the way. It's a required fight, and he might be making a liar of me.
Well, did get a heal helmet out of that, which grants 15 hit points to all warriors. So, the only problem is you have to use it in battle. You can't just you can't use it not in battle. Man,
it's also potential. It's equipable by the knight. It's equipable by a ninja as well. It's also sellable, so that's an option. I mean, a lot of different things you can do with it. Good thing to have, especially early. The longer the game goes on, the value, of something, an item like that, kind of plummets.
Yay! Celebrate the heal 3. All right, here we go. One fire, just gonna. Yep. And there's the 4th.
Oh boy! Wow.
Okay, so let's just keep piling on to FuchsiaFantasy's lead here. My goodness.
Right.
It's at least 5 minutes now.
The rich get richer. Edgeworth is a little bit behind, obviously, without the canoe. He's gonna head to Earth. He's gonna dig that out. We knew that. We know that, and we knew that before. However, it's really changed now. We're gonna go ahead and mark down the time, 36 minutes. To where FuchsiaFantasy was able to, have the airship jump into the volcano and dig out the hairpin chest chime. So we'll see what type of a lead difference happens here between these two players tonight.
Though let's keep in mind that Aegis shield found. Oh well, wow. Now, but let's keep in mind, I did say the 5-minute advantage. However, the race is by no means over. I mean, there's still a whole lot of equalizers that can just level the score as quick as snapping 2 fingers. So,
right,
stick around.
Oh, absolutely. The race isn't over, period, until you see done, obviously. But with both these players, race is never over. They're just that good.
A little bit of money right there. Oh no! Perilous.
Is that?
Perilous with death touch.
Was that death touch?
Yes. Gone.
See ya. Oh, wow. Okay, now does he have his? He doesn't have his chime though.
No, I think he does have the chime, so I think he's okay in that matter. Well, we'll find out in a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got the chime, because he's going back to the treasure trove.
Okay, so the birds, the Perilous, have death touch. That's going to come up a little bit later. Waterfall, they can show up in there.
Mm-hmm.
I believe they're in Ice Cave as well.
Wow, I mean, just I keep mentioning the bizarreness of this seed, and it's just so unusual. And I know I've said this already, but I can't emphasize this enough. It's just so unusual to be knocking out monsters with Brack and Quake, and it's just been used so often in this seed. It's driving me nuts in a way.
Better to watch than play sometimes, Game Boy.
Well, I'm definitely entertained, and I hope everyone watching here is entertained as well. So, thank you all for joining us. That's right, Game Boy.
Yes, thank you for joining us, bringing us into your home. Our restreamer tonight is Game Boy F9 himself. He's joining me tonight here. I'm Will Cleosis. Ali Gerbrap doing the track and keeping us up with all this madness. Thank you for joining us here on Randomania. We'd like to remind you that the next matchup on Randomania is tomorrow. It's July 12th. 8 p.m. Eastern time. It's Fuzzy Mage. 4-1 Fuzzy Mage against the 3-2 Clan Race qualifier Bismarck. 8 p.m. Eastern right here on Randomania.
Yeah, that's right. That's yet another good match. They're all going to be good matches from now on.
Oh, yeah.
But, well, while we're doing some advertising here, tail pickup for Fuchsia. Keep tacking on the lead. Anyway, while we're in the promotion phase here, you're doing double duty tonight. As a matter of fact, you got another match here in 80 minutes.
Oh, it's going to be awesome, Game Boy. Over on streaming, Minochi 85, the Buzzsaw, taking on High Spirits. You have some familiarity with High Spirits.
Yeah, he's the Dragon Warrior Chaos Tournament champion, but picked up this game so well. So I will definitely say that Minochi has a significant advantage, but I will also say that High Spirits does have a very significant chance of winning. I definitely tune in. Definitely tune in, give it a watch, because you never know. That's why we play the game. Is that what Chris Berman says?
That's why you play the game. Yes, that's 8 p.m. tonight, Eastern Time. It's over on our sister broadcast partner, Speed Gaming 4. I'm going to be there, going to be joined by Tyrannex, another Dragon Warrior gentleman with you, Game Boy. I'm just getting Dragon Warriored out today. It's a great.
Yeah, that's right. All right, time for Fuchsia Fantasy to, if you don't mind me quoting Altered Beast, power up.
When I was a kid, me and Falconic FF around, we always called it getting big because, when you were younger, we always called it getting big. I don't know why.
Yeah, no, I believe it. Meanwhile, not too much else here in the Zardia Islands here, the Cardi Islands, excuse me. Named after, well, except we do call it the Zardia. Anyway, I'm rambling. Let's go to Mount Ordeals.
Edgeworth now checking the off chest. He is on the right floor. The next chest he checks will give him the canoe. That's what he's been looking for. There it is. Edgeworth has his canoe now.
But, wow, that was at 42 minutes. He's got to be at least 8 minutes behind, maybe even 10 minutes behind. Oof.
As Fuchsia Fantasy makes his way to Castle Ordeals, Edgeworth is going to continue on a little bit here in the Earth Cave. 2 more chests and a vampire to take out. He's elected to go that route.
Meanwhile, those Ochos and Hydra, they were just like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bother you.
Fuchsia Fantasy not having anything about.
But in all
fires off a nuke.
Yeah. In all seriousness, though, that was a good fight right there. 1,000 points apiece.
And level 12, right before you enter Castle Ordeals, you can house up, get more magic charges, jump in here, and knock this as soon as you can.
Alright, time to play the guessing game. But you do have warps, so that's going to help a ton. So if you make a wrong choice, you can just warp back. Well, no, never mind. He just guessed everything right.
Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, and when you're as good as Fantasy is, getting lucky on top of that,
well, okay, so not much for boxes right now. How about some man-cats, though?
Man-cats always kind of give me the, They come in packs, they often times they have something. I don't like them.
Oh, another ribbon. My word, so 2 ribbons. Surely it will be 2 ribbons for both players, because...
Yeah.
So right now, the Temple of Fiends Revisited starting to look a little friendlier as you keep racking up those ribbons.
Yeah, absolutely, yes. Also, obviously the endgame Sword of Vorpal is a potential option. Missing items. as the incentivized item is the crown in the castle ordeals. As far as missing items, the loot, the bottle, the rod, and the loot, bottle, and rod. Those are the 3 main things that we're looking for. We've got the waterfall, we've got Astos and turning in the crown, and we've got the slab as well. So we'll be looking for that to pop up in potentially Ice Cave.
Yeah, the Soria just got defeated there by FuchsiaFantasy. We still have a poll about that, don't we? Do we still have a poll for that?
We do. Let me see if I can get the command. There it is, the polls. Randomania fans, Final Fantasy Randomizer polls are out. One of them is the mascot for the 2018 Spring Tournament. We know what it is that you want it to be. Is it the maligned Agama? How about the good old iguana? It didn't cause any trouble, right? Or what about the elusive Saria? Get in there, click on it, let us know what you want the mascot to be, and that'll be revealed during our bonus stream and all of our bonus content. And actually, all of our bonus content this tournament right here is right here on Randomania, your home for all the randomizers.
Ah, yes. FuchsiaFantasy doing a lot of grinding on the way. I mean, this has been... He's proven it right here, a very high experience zone, and Edgeworth finally gets the airship at 46 minutes. That's 10 minutes behind FuchsiaFantasy picking up the
chime.
The chime.
Yeah. No.
By the way,
FuchsiaFantasy's gonna turn in his crown now. Looking for the loot. The rod gets the slab.
Well, you're gonna need the slab. Well, I think you do anyway. Well, yeah, if you want that item down in Lufenia.
Yeah. As far as... Oh, Edgeworth is not going to the volcano. He's headed to Ice Cave. This could put Edge maybe even behind a little bit more, because by the time FuchsiaFantasy gets to the Ice Cave, I know Fuchsia quite well. I've studied Fuchsia. There's no way he checks all those chests. He's going to use the warp trick, and he's going to get out of there and save even more time. With Edge making this decision, unfortunately, he's going to check some chests. Hopefully, again, it's a situation that you talked about earlier, Game Boy, where he digs out a dragon armor, that 3rd ribbon, something else, maybe the power gauntlet that can help him in the end game.
Yeah, that's pretty much his biggest hope right now, because Edgeworth still has one super item, for lack of a better term, remaining. There's the translation.
Edgeworth is leaving the Ice Cave now, headed back to Crescent Light, getting some supplies, it looks like.
By the way, FuchsiaFantasy with A1 heal potions, if I at last check.
Yes, he does have that. I did see it. Edgeworth has left the Ice Cave. He's headed to the volcano. How quickly does he dig out his chime and get that information?
Yep, definitely going with the odds with that high density treasure trove, and there's that heal helmet, so that'll help a little bit. I think he's still got another minute before he's able to pick up that chime, I think.
FuchsiaFantasy doing a little bit of shopping in Elfland now. Saves up, heads toward the volcano maybe, to take out perhaps the Fiend of Fire, Carrie.
Yeah, gotta be. I don't know if Fuchsia's gonna bother picking up any more chests. He's got 2 ribbons already, so I mean, a 3rd ribbon would be a real help. Now, well, maybe he still will, because he does have the Vorpal sword, is that right?
He does, but I can tell you FuchsiaFantasy is not a fan of the Vorpal at all, and he will tell you all about it. Let's just put it that way.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Well, we'll skip that, and so there. Well, yep.
Sun Sword.
He's checking.
Meanwhile, Edgeworth has dug out the chime from the volcano now. 13 minutes after FuchsiaFantasy found it, Edgeworth immediately leaves the volcano, and he's going to start to make his move now.
But again, this game is nowhere near over. When you say something like 13 minutes, you think that's an insurmountable lead. It's over. Everybody stand up and leave the arena. No, don't do that. Stick around. It is not over. And we'll tell you why after we pick up some more orbs, I think.
Meridian BC joining us in the chat room watching tonight. Thank you for joining us, Meridian. One of our wonderful, wonderful leaders of our development team, the things that he does to bring this game to you Randomania fans and Final Fantasy Randomizer fans. Absolutely awesome. And the hard work that he does, good quality work. Same as yourself, Game Boy, the work that you guys put in. I can't say enough positive things about it.
Well, looks like Fuchsia's drawing a 0 on these boxes.
Wah, wah, wah.
Oh, Katana. Well, nope, that's not going to help. So let's do some Megamafax.
I thought I saw that Tristal MTG, another player here, certainly in Final Fantasy Randomizer, is asking if Edge picked up that Aegis shield. And I thought I saw something goofy with that too. So we'll see if we can check his armor inventory, because that's going to be an item that you certainly want towards the end game.
And Fuchsia's not going to pay a visit to the Red Dragon, or what? Oh no, maybe he is. He's fooling us here. Yes, he is going to pay a visit to the Red Dragon, or what everybody should call the Fun Police.
The Fun Police from Dragon Warrior. I can tell you again, in my studies of Edgeworth always skips the Red Dragon chest. We'll see if he does, and he remains true to his usual strategy here, and he does that. It would be a good move to do, unless he wants levels. It was only a soft potion.
Alright, here we go. Let's do some, no, he still wants A1 heal potions. What's it gonna be?
A rub.
Yeah, that's an interesting call. 5 hits for 125. Ouch.
Gary putting a little bit of, been working out a little bit here. 52-minute mark. Fuchsia Fantasy initiates the first Fiend fight. Damage poison now from Carrie, putting a little dent into Fuchsia Fantasy. Fuchsia Fantasy retorts with a nuke and some invisibility 2 cloaks.
Knight's doing some decent damage. I think you got maybe 1 or 2 rounds left.
Yeah, if that, probably, unless, let's see, another nuke now from Fuchsia Fantasy. 282, down goes Carrie. Steps away now, Fuchsia Fantasy. He makes it, lights his first orb of the match. 1-0 Fuchsia, he's got the fire orb.
Yeah, the good news for Edge is he's not that far behind. Fuchsia now going for that ice cave. Here we go. Let's see if everything you mentioned is holding serve here.
If I know Fuchsia Fantasy, which I believe I do, being a great player, he will just take the incentivized chest based upon the knowledge that he already has of having the loose items out in the world.
However, Edgeworth now has all the loose items as well. So
he does.
So we'll see what happens here. He does have the Vorpal sword, so he might be okay with that, or he might want to go for Massive Unit. I'm not sure what direction he's going to take here. So much damage for all these wraiths and images and all this undead. Oh, Edgeworth is going to visit the Fun Police here.
I've never seen him do this. He always skips this, so this tells me that he does want something. A second ribbon, a power gauntlet. A ruby. Ruby required now, Game Boy. Sweet 16. To get to the Titan's Trophy, 4 chests.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, but it's not gonna lead to any key items. Oh, images with thunder. Ouch.
Thunder from the Eye Mages. Another thunder. Starting to wallop Fuchsia Fantasy right now. He gets away though.
Yeah, and then he's just like, life 2. Yeah, whatever.
That's a pretty good spell. Fuchsia Fantasy enters the drop down, uses warp, picks up the bottle from the ice cave now, grabs a couple extra chests, heads directly to his menu, taps exit, and skips the rest of the ice cave.
Yeah, you called it.
Mm-hmm. So the bottle has been located now. Look at the routing here from Fuchsia Fantasy as Edgeworth picks up the carry fight. And carry is no pushover here. Fuchsia Fantasy takes care of the ice cave, does what it was that he wanted to do, goes and picks up level 2 magic for his knight all in one swoop as he heads north to Gaia to turn in his bottle. There's the damage poison for carry. Edgeworth not phased by it at all. 2-fighter party makeup, attacking carry now. But there goes 1 fighter.
And
but 290 from a nuke from the red mage. Down goes carry. We're tied. 1 orb. Edgeworth has his fire orb now.
3 minutes and 9 seconds behind Fuchsia for lighting that orb. So, as I said, race is not over by any means. So,
Not one bit.
The thing is, though, Edge has not gone through ordeals, so gotta do that still.
Is that what you would think, Game Boy, is the difference right here? Are we gonna call it one quicker dungeon? Maybe?
Well, 1 quicker dungeon and 3 minutes. Edge also has to pick up the tail, so he's got to power up too, so...
Okay, so yeah. 1 dungeon, maybe a quicker one, plus change.
Yeah.
Is kind of what we're thinking right now, okay. Talking and headed all the way to the Fane. No Lupa-ing. Yields the ruby. So that'll give access to 4 chests in the Titan's Trove. Whether or not that's on Fuchsia Fantasy's priority list, I would certainly question. But the option is there.
Yeah, looks like he is, Zombies were not mandatory, right? So I think he's just accepting that, and it's just like, oh, I'll take the points for that.
Yeah, melting them down right now. Level 16 for Fuchsia Fantasy now. Ellie Gerbrat pointing out, Sarda has not been visited by either player yet. Those 2 items that we're looking for still, the loot and the rod, we would certainly think that one of them is with Sarda. The other one, perhaps in the waterfall.
There's Edgeworth powering up here. Quickly warps out, and here we go. Now, I don't know if we've mentioned this. We probably have, but this is a best of 3. So if Edgeworth does lose here, which you know, he is significantly behind, but if he does ultimately lose, he does have another chance to pick up a win and even up the score. So.
Yeah, it's not over for Edgeworth. It's not over for Fantasy. Should he lose? Best 2 out of 3.
Not finding much in the form of spells here. Releases the good fairy.
This could be the rod. Could be the.
Yeah, we're doing. It's such a long walk to the ferry. Hoxiel, there it is.
Hoxiel. Opening up the options now for Fuchsia Fantasy. Chime and cube in hand. I do not see the Aegis shield on Edgeworth's screen. He didn't. I don't think he got the Aegis shield when he saw it in Volcano.
Will Bloodworth asking if this is even rando, and I was gonna say, yes it is, because
It is.
If it was vanilla version, it would not say here, take this Oxyale and like some inconsiderate person. So. Still checking boxes here. You going up to visit the mermaids?
He is. Glare. Oh, FuchsiaFantasy glance. Oh boy. Sea Snakes just wrecked Fuchsia.
Yeah, that's going to be something to consider coming toward the end of the game here. Oh, glare again. Have a good game. Sea Snakes looks like no. You're better off lying there on the floor.
Those Sea Snakes are going to pop up again. We're talking Temple of Fiends Revisited, and as we go deeper into the Sea Shrine.
Well, how about more Sea Snakes? It's just like, no. I want to keep glaring at you. I want to keep staring at you here.
Because another glare takes out the knight, for the third time. I don't know.
I insist that you remain dead.
As every time I see a cobras or snakes, as FuchsiaFantasy gets ambushed by ghosts now, who have stun touches, could be trouble here. Every time I see snakes or asps or something with something, I always think Indiana Jones and how much he doesn't like snakes.
Yeah, well, these ghosts are nothing like the Dragon Warrior ghosts, that's for sure. Dealing bazillion damage every time.
Hitting really hard, yeah. Edgeworth has obtained his crown. He made quick work of Castle Ordeals, just about as quickly as Fuchsia did. Let's see if he's going to exit out of here. Took a couple of zombie dragons. He's going to get out of here. Meanwhile, Fuchsia hitting a tough go here on his way to the mermaids in the Sea Shrine.
Mm-hmm. Has to deal with the mandatory fight, as I like to call it, because this fight is mandatory whether you like it or not. It doesn't matter whether it's Seed 1 or Seed 87 quadrillion. You are fighting these. You have to fight those Sahags. That
Ghost ambush Fuchsia again. That not getting the Aegis shield that was located in the volcano, which Edgeworth checked. You know, that's Game Boy. That's even more paramount because he's got 2 knights. So. Yeah.
Wow, a tale of two treasures right there. One was 65,535, and the other one was 6.
Another mandatory fight. This fight will always be runnable. The Wizard Sahag, 1 to 2 of them, and the rest of the screen fills up with Red Sahags. It shares a formation with the Pirates, which are also unrunnable. So, unless something happens sometime in the future, this will always be unrunnable as well. You'll always see that little wait command come up, and you cannot get away.
Yeah, it's like I can see it now, where you can run from the Pirates, and I'm like, okay, here, you can have the ship for running away.
Yeah. Edgeworth sees a Tyro, immediately hits the reset button. Although he's been eating some steak lately, Edgeworth has. Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, I haven't heard much from the Tyro over the last few seeds, so... Oh, look, Gur Sharks also have glance. Yeah, they're gonna take the points now. Wow, swinging a miss from the knight. Woof.
Evasion from the Gray Sharks, it looks like. FuchsiaFantasy, it gets to level 18 now. But I can tell you this, Fuchsia has spent a lot of time here headed toward the mermaids that I don't think he budgeted for. I don't think he saw... He knew the unrunnables were coming, but I don't think he saw this many encounters on his way to the ladies, which he has made it. He immediately finds a tent, a couple bucks, and a couple more bucks.
Alright, well, he's got a huge treasure trove up here, which is why you go up to see the mermaids, so hopefully Fuchsia's gonna get something really good. A mage staff is okay.
Okay, yeah. Edgeworth has turned in his crown, picked up the slab from Astos, the kindly king in Northwest Castle. It was Astos all along.
Again?
Mermaid's
I
a pretty
don't know.
big bust here.
I was gonna say, I don't know. I think Astos needs to find another profession here.
One chest left for FuchsiaFantasy. He cannot be happy with this. A mage staff is really all he got out of it. Game Boy. He spent a lot of time too.
Oh, so this might be Edge's chance to catch up here. As he has to go through, but he does have to go through the ice cave again.
Edgeworth did immediately translate his slab over and on his way to the ice cave. The translated slab led to the ruby. It's going to be hard for him to avoid that. If he's able to do that, it would potentially save him, a trip and maybe some time. But it's hard to avoid doing that. It's just so natural, and it's almost like muscle memory.
And here we go again. The ghost picking off Fuchsia here. I mean, this is like Dragon Warrior 1 all over again, where you will get picked off whether you like it or not here. The good news is that those ghosts, cast heat, which is a very weak spell. So
yeah, Eye Mages for Edgeworth now. They've got the Dazzle skill, and they've got a pretty rough spell. One knight is already stunned, but he gets a nuke off. He's going to take out this group of undead. Meanwhile, FuchsiaFantasy continues his full clear, I guess you could say, of Sea Shrine now. And yeah, he is. He's going to full clear Sea Shrine. So far, he's found absolutely nothing.
Yeah, well, Pro Ring. I suppose that's something. But, I mean, you can buy Pro Rings.
Yeah. FuchsiaFantasy is aware... sea snakes. He's aware of the progression items. I can only think he's looking for mainly a power gauntlet or an endgame weapon. The Mazmoon, perhaps, something along those lines.
There's the bottle. Is gonna continue.
Right, we talked about this. The Edgeworth, he is going to continue, okay.
Yeah.
Could this be a play on him knowing Fuchsia, what it was that we knew that was going to skip it? I mean, it's not something you can necessarily depend on. Could be.
Yeah,
another opportunity for Edgeworth, like the earlier Marsh Cave, where if he can dig out a dragon armor, maybe that third remnant could really pay off for him.
Well, Fuchsia did find something useful, the black shirt.
Ooh, black shirt, equipable by the Black Wizard. Ice 2 an infinite number of times. It resists time. The time element, when it's equipped, it resists the ice element as well.
And more sahags. Excuse me, more sahags. Because why not?
Yeah, why not?
And now time for some whiz yeah. I actually really like this fight. The Gur Shark and the Whiz Sahags. I always find them to be significant points.
Mm-hmm. You probably prefer the formation of the two Grey Sharks and the one Wizard Sahag?
Yeah, that would help.
Yeah, optimally. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but still 1,100 points. I'd take that. And it looks like it's not looking good for these items here. Ooh, and this is gonna cost some time too with the heal 3. Fortunately, the lift 3 went off when it did.
Yeah. And he gets away, but not much in the ice cave so far. 5 chests still remain for Edgeworth before he can get out of here and move on. A pure potion pickup for Edgeworth. A stick pickup for Edgeworth now.
Yeah,
3 more to go.
Wow.
Nothing.
Oh my goodness. Wow, this is just
Dragon.
Wow, Dragon
Sharknado room. Very accessible chest. Edgeworth is going to get this. The dragon armor has been located. Very important. It's going to be important and pivotal for him. He's got 2 knights.
And money for the final chest here. Oh. So yeah, so Edge went and looked at all the boxes in the ice cave and came up with zilch.
Zip. It kind of almost equals Fuchsia headed to the mermaids. You know, Fuchsia probably spent more time, but got a mage staff out of it, but...
Oh, well, gee, that begs the question. Is he going to wind up...
Head to the mermaids,
Headed to the mermaids. If he does that, it at that point will take a death at Topher for Edge to catch up. I would have to dare say.
I would think along those lines as well, Game Boy. I would definitely think that. FuchsiaFantasy gets ambushed by a group of lobsters, dispatches of them, moves to level 19, honing in on Kraken now, looking to light his second orb. We're at the 1 hour 11 minute mark.
Yeah, that's pushing 20 minutes from the first orb, so that a little bit of time, but boy, those orbs are gonna start going boom, boom, boom. Oh, Kraken, you look nice today.
Edgeworth is going to go in and turn in his trans. Not going to be happy when he picks Ruby. We'll see. Is it possible he saved up at the airship and is able to reset out of it if he doesn't want the Ruby? That could be a potential option here. You want FuchsiaFantasy taking on Kraken. Yeah.
Oh boy, this sword is not doing well, and as Kraken doing his thing.
Timely cure 4 from Fuchsia.
So
goes the Black Wizard.
So Will, there are veteran moves, and then there are veteran moves. And Kraken with his 8 legs dealing 379 damage to the Black Wizard and destroying it. That is what we definitely call a veteran move.
That is that Kraken being that darn Kraken. He's been doing it since 1990, making it happen. That jerk.
My goodness, that Kraken's been around that long, huh? Oof.
19, yeah. He's just struggling a little bit with Kraken 2 now, or Kraken 1, whatever his name is.
Yeah, very high resist, man, and not drawing any crits either.
Yeah, the Sun Sword, 6 hits. Oh, it's good enough. Okay. Fuchsia will take it, the Sun Sword. 6 hits, 66 damage. Knocks out Kraken. He's lit his second orb now.
So I know that Fuchsia's has sold his Vorpal Sword, but I would argue that would be why you would pick up the Vorpal in this case, because Edge still has the Vorpal Sword's gonna knock out Kraken like it's tinfoil.
Yes, oh, definitely, especially with the game changer. Meanwhile, both players headed to Waterfall now, and when FuchsiaFantasy sold the Vorpal, I can only think that it was an accident on the controller. Who would ever do that?
Edgeworth going through Waterfall. As we have Frost Skaters, very high experience yield here. So Fuchsia's gonna go for it.
The Waterfall has an incentivized item. We certainly know that this is going to be either the loot or the rod. But where's the other one? Sarda. Thank you. Sarda not lit up on our NPCs down on our tracker. So either the loot or the rod will be here. Whichever isn't will be down at Sarda. Neither player has checked Sarda at this point. So there's our answer. We'd like to thank Ali Gerbrap, our tracker, for keeping us in line. Certainly. Thank you, Ali.
Yeah, that's kind of bizarre. You know, nobody's going and checked Sarda. That's I guess they will both remember. I'm sorry, I'm at a loss of words here, but if not, this will go down the line of like not checking a particular treasure chest that you have to check or something like that. I don't know.
Well, we've got both players that are in this boat right now. I've never seen this. If it's something that you're just putting off, the loot has been located in the waterfall. Edgeworth has it. He's the first with the loot now.
There's the weapon Fuchsia Fantasy is looking for. Edgeworth gets it first, but Fuchsia Fantasy will get that weapon absolutely 1,000,000,000% gonna get it. Mass immune. One of the 3 weapons you can vote on for best weapon. What else can I say?
One sword to rule them all. We want to know what is the best in-game weapon for a knight. Links are in the chat room right now. Is it the awesome defense sword with its ruse casting ability and damage dealing output? What about the maligned game changer, the Vorpal? We've got the versatile Masmone, the damage dealer, and also their option 2. Defense Vorpal, Masmone. Get there, click that link, vote Vorpal.
Oh my goodness. So this is so interesting out of Edgeworth. I believe he has the Sun Sword equipped on the first night. He has the Vorpal Sword equipped on the second night, and the Mass Immune equipped on the Red Wizard.
Edge burning off encounters. He's leaving?
Yeah.
Edgeworth is leaving Oxyale in hand?
Looks like it. Looks like,
interesting.
Sarda's gonna be first.
Going to Sarda. He smashes into Sarda's cave, breaking down the door of Sarda's cave as Edgeworth now.
Meanwhile, Fuchsia Fantasy gonna go to the Mirage Tower. There's the rod. Might as well go to the Earth Cave. You're here. Beat the crap out of Lich here. I mean, the only way Lich doesn't die here is if Lich casts, like, Nuke or something crazy like that.
Lich is gonna die. Oh, Edgeworth? Okay. Edgeworth has his foot on the gas. He's starting to skip chests now. Fuchsia Fantasy continues to check a few, unless it's just the easy ones here, like in the first floor of Mirage. Once he gets to the second floor of Mirage, if he hits the greater than, less than area, it's going to tell us a little bit more about what Fuchsia's thinking.
Ooh, there's another ribbon.
Was that the Power Gauntlet? Power Gauntlet. Pro Cape. Ribbon. Oh boy.
Wow, everything going Fuchsia Fantasy's way here this seed.
He's ready. He's got to be ready, Game Boy. I mean, that's 3 ribbons, Power Gauntlet. He's got the Masmone. He hasn't been to Sarda to pick up the rod yet, but I can only think it's foot to the floor now.
Yeah. And of course he's saved. I mean we don't talk about this very often, but saving is like, you just gotta do that every time. Wow, he's gonna keep checking boxes. Wow. Okay.
This surprises me. We've got 3 ribbons, Power Gauntlet, the Masm.
Well, look what Ali just wrote in chat.
Oh. Is it possible that Fuchsia Fantasy has forgotten Sarda and the rod, checks his menu real quick, does not see the rod, and thinks that the rod might be loose?
Well, we'll have to ask that in the interview in about half an hour's time. But
yeah,
we'll see. I mean, that would rank up there. I mean, now I can only give a Dragon Warrior reference. Many would say that I'm pretty decent at it, but even I forget to check key boxes every now and then. I have forgotten to check boxes, and they happen to have a key item, and I lose. So it happens to the best of them. But the Warple armor's nice.
Ishbert Maya, you kind of took the words out of my mouth here in chat. He said, the plot thickens. It very well could be. Edgeworth a little, still, trailing behind. This could be the opportunity. And when Fuchsia Fantasy opens a door for you and gives you an opportunity, you better take it, and you better jump on that as fast as you can. And I can almost guarantee you Edgeworth will try to do that.
Yeah. Of course, then I mean, there's one other option, and it's that Fuchsia Fantasy's just fooling us all, and he's just like, I'm just gonna keep checking boxes. Maybe he thinks that he really is in the lead, and is just getting some insurance here. Wants to get Topher down in one try.
The defense sort of really almost round out the tracker down there. Essentially, he doesn't need to, that would round out the tracker. I thought that Fuchsia would be looking to route in visiting Sarda with clearing out the Earth Cave after having the airship, because that does make sense.
Yes.
Yeah, so, yeah.
Well, we'll find
Edgeworth has entered the Sea Shrine now. He heads directly north. See if he heads right or left. Based upon the way he just took out Lich and the Earth Cave for a second orb, I can only think he will head left.
Yeah. So now I would say Fuchsia's advantage, which was he is heading left. We were thinking it was some double-digit minutes, and I would say might be headed toward a 5-minute advantage now. Wow, Fuchsia's still checking boxes.
I've seen Fuchsia Fantasy do this many a times. He likes to take the fights for experience. Definitely not the bad man. But Eyes, Manticore, Green Medusas are going to start popping up a little bit here and there. There's the Manticore, he gets ambushed by him. But that I guess I can understand. But pedal to the metal is what I expected. This is not what I expected from Fuchsia.
Okay, so I have one more guess. He's possibly looking for Excalibur, which would be a very good weapon. But
could be.
But he's got Mass Immune. Mm-hmm. Where would the Mass Immune go? So never mind.
Edgeworth has picked up his Dragon Armor now. Very important pickup. He does not have that Aegis Shield. He picked up the Dragon Armor. He's got 2 Knights. Fuchsia Fantasy's got a... What did you say, Game Boy? You said you think maybe like 5 minutes at this point, based on what's happening here?
Yeah, okay. I would say maybe 5 minutes, give or take.
I'm definitely inclined to agree, and I can feel the momentum trying to switch a little bit. It's like the wind. The wind's blowing in your face. Next thing you know, it's on the side of your face, and it's trying to switch right now. You can feel it's in the air. Potentially that something is going to change real quick. We'll see if that wind and that potentially that momentum continues to shift.
Yeah.
Level 19 for Edgeworth now. On his way to Kraken.
Yeah, you want to get to about, I would say, 21? Doesn't that give you an extra hit when you hit 21? Somewhere around there? Or is that later?
Level 24 for the Knight will give you an extra hit when the Mazmoon is equipped.
Oh, okay.
9 for the Vorpal.
Yeah, Fuchsia's still knocking out monsters. It says he's picking up boxes. What could he be looking for? Defense sword, maybe.
That's the last thing on the track. I mean, is there anything else? White shirt? White shirt?
Well, more money instead.
He's headed back to the spider room and checking that now. Again, I know he likes these fights, and I know he wants levels. I'm going to go ahead and take this out of my notes. I'm going to certainly ask him about this, but I didn't even see this move coming right now.
No. I tell you what, though, level 23, he's going to be in real good shape when Temple of Fiends Revisited comes around.
3 orbs lit now for Edgeworth. Here's my question, Game Boy. If we look at this on paper right now, has Edgeworth just passed Fuchsia Fantasy?
Yeah. I think
okay.
So. Boom, here we go. Air orb right now.
Defense sword is the difference. We've got the same. We've got all the items except Sarda's cave and the right Fuchsia. I'm gonna agree. Edgeworth has passed Fuchsia Fantasy now. No defense sword. I don't see much of a difference. He's got the Vorpal, that's an option. 2 knights wielding a Vorpal, a Sun Sword, and a Mazmoon. I like it, along with the Red Wizard.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. But I mean, Fuchsia's advantage is the extra ribbon. Got all those extra swords. There's the white shirt.
White shirt. Okay, he's complete. There's nothing else left to find. 1 hour, 26 minutes in. There's nothing else. You know, he continues to check. Okay, here's a good fight. I think this is why Fuchsia is making this move. 4 rock golems. He's going to try to blast these guys.
Edgeworth.
Question from
gonna take the blue dragon there.
Edgeworth honing in on Fuchsia Fantasy now. He's in the floating fort. He's 1 orb ahead. He's missing a couple items. Defense sword, white shirt, but he's got the rod from Sarda. Could Fuchsia Fantasy have forgotten Sarda and the rod? I don't think so, but it's possible. Fuchsia continuing to check the spider room now.
Uh-oh, eyeball. Oh, well, I guess I shouldn't be that nervous about it. No, I guess we're gonna have a little chat with the Bridge of Destiny here in a moment.
The Bridge of Destiny. Ye who roam the Bridge of Destiny, named Warmek. Chat's favorite. Level 20 for Edgeworth now as he goes through the Sky Pillar maze. Not so much of a maze that it's going to be in the future. Future rounds, difficulty increases. Those teleporters will be shuffled.
Yes, and now... Oh, I'm sorry. Now we are in that 10 tower. What is it? 24 and 256 encounter rate, much higher on this floor.
Yes. Level 24 for Fuchsia Fantasy right now. Gear in the world. He's starting to close in on the Bridge of Destiny now. Edgeworth is on the Bridge of Destiny. Rainbow Poogle in the chat room looking for her favorite Warmek. Rainbow Poogle plays this game. She wanders around on this bridge. She ain't afraid of no encounter rate. She wants Warmek.
Hey, I mean, 8,000 points if you can defeat the Warmek. Can you blame her?
Not one bit. Time it now for Edgeworth. Time it has 3 hits and 4 damage into Edge.
Ouch. He's gotta be really hurt by that attack by Tiamat. Especially with the dark follow-up.
Dark!
Man.
Whoa! This is the tamest, weakest Tiamat I've ever seen in my entire life.
Oh, Edge is in real trouble here. I mean, these weak attacks, 8 hits for 554 damage. I mean, that's
Edgeworth dispatches is the easiest fiend ever in the history of Final Fantasy. 4 orbs now for Edgeworth. He's got the loot. He's got the Mystic Key. 1 hour, 30 minutes, we're going to call it. He's going to start making his way toward the Temple of Fiends Revisited.
Well, now all he needs is the warrant and to find Carmen Sandiego, and then it's over. Here we go. Oh, this has been awesome.
Great match, back and forth, back and forth. We're going to call it 90 minutes now. 1 hour, 30 minutes. Edgeworth is your first player into the Temple of Fiends Revisited. He's got 2 knights. His equipment is strong. His spells are strong. He's right around level 20, 21, I believe.
And let me ask you, Will, did you see this coming?
No, I didn't. I like when Edgeworth made his move. When he entered Cave to step on it, I expected that he did not. I think that that's what opened the door, and I think Edgeworth, in a sense, saw that and, well, he was being Edgeworth and took advantage of it. It's what he does. Such a great game player.
Yeah. Well, here we go. Phantom time. It's a pick-off, and, yeah, enough of that. Is going to check the boxes behind here. Doesn't necessarily have to do that, but then again, he could have found a ribbon or something like that, so not a bad play considering.
Question from Joey 1797 in the chat room. Yes, this is a best of 3, and it is the first match. The winner here will go up 1-0.
Yeah, this isn't cribbage or anything where if you beat somebody by a large margin, it's 2 games. No,
No.
Will Bloodworth is correct, or excuse me, Will Cleos. Oh, I'm sorry. Will Cleosis is correct. You will be going 1-0.
Half of Team Illuminati here. The other half, Team Illuminati. Mr. Will Bloodworth joining us in the chat. Always a pleasure to have you, sir. Edgeworth starting to tear through the Temple of Fiends Revisited now. Fuchsia has his 3rd orb, 1 orb behind. Is he headed? Oh, he has forgotten Sarda. Okay.
Yeah, gotta be.
Yeah.
Gotta be.
FuchsiaFantasy has returned to the Ice Cave now. This would lead me to believe that the skip chest in Ice Cave, he thinks that the rod is potentially in here. He's played so many games and so many times. I would think that you head to Sarda, it's just almost automatic, and then you just don't do it.
Oh my. I feel for Fuchsia, man.
Mm-hmm. Final Fantasy Randomizer fans, Randomania fans, thank you for bringing us into your home. We're just past the 90-minute mark. Edgeworth, after being behind pretty much the whole game, has taken the lead on FuchsiaFantasy right now, best of 3. This is match 1. Game Boy F9, our restreamer, Ali Gerbrap doing the tracking. Game Boy F9 joining myself, Will Cleosis, here in the commentary booth for a great show from 2 great players.
And I'm laughing because we had a very competitive Lich 2 fight. Swing the sword and die. I feel like we're playing PSP version.
Nope.
Oh, here we go. Now we got challenge. As in,
boy.
we're down to 2. We're down to 2 knights for the remainder of Topher.
Ooh. Okay, there's the Mazmoon. Ooh, Bane from Carry 2 takes out another knight. I hit the reset button here. Does he have life? I think he does.
Yes,
He's got
two charges.
Life charges, but okay. Game Boy, take it from here, my friend. I'm gonna step out real quick, sir.
All right.
Thank you.
So this may be the one saving grace for FuchsiaFantasy because he's got all these levels now. If Edge winds up losing here, which is still possible, it will give Fuchsia that chance to catch up. So race is not over until Chaos, the final boss of the game, is dead. So, but here we go. It's Kraken 2 after that really long walk. Gonna go ahead and heal up, which you naturally would do against Kraken here. Oh, gonna set up a meat shield for that black belt. All 1 hit point of it. Inferno coming out straight away. Well, that's 1 less wicked ability out of the way here. No fast coming out though. Playing quite conservatively. Oh, there's the fast. Never mind. 6 hits, 590 damage. Kraken's in trouble. Well, that's a nice response. 8 hits for however much it was. And paralysis. Oh, there we go. Gone. 1 bonus fiend remains. Welcome back, Will.
Thank you. Kraken 2 dispatched by Edgeworth now.
Yeah, a couple critical hits with that mass immune.
Clearly Edgeworth's game to win at this point in time. Should he perish, it wouldn't be, I wouldn't say devastating. He doesn't know this, but he's gaining a lot. He would gain a lot of information and probably, I would think, dive back in. But right now, he's diving right in to tie him at 2. He did not put the meat shield in the first slot here, though. He put Buzz the lighter.
I'm sorry, as FuchsiaFantasy finally gets the rod.
Poison smoke from Tiamat takes out the meat shield. Edgeworth saw that coming, not too concerned with it. Meanwhile, FuchsiaFantasy, he's going to step it up to 4th or 5th gear.
Oh, I think FuchsiaFantasy's going to need to, like, 10th gear here.
He might overdrive. 5 hits from Tiamat 2 obliterates the top knight of Edgeworth.
Oh, that's alright, though. Tiamat goes down. Gonna be able to heal up here. And we're going down to the final boss. Let's see what Chaos has today. We haven't seen Cure 4. We haven't seen Nuclear. We did see 1 nuke. Do we have another nuke coming?
Yes.
Yes. So,
yes.
Swirl, I believe, is still in the picture. So,
Swirl.
Choose your poison. Is poison in the picture?
Yes, damage poison skill. The one spell that a lot of people don't talk about is Slow 2. If Chaos fires out Slow 2 and hits that Mazmoon wielder, could be trouble. Speaking of trouble, 2 hits, 2 damage from the Mazmoon by Edgeworth now. That's possible trouble.
So 126 down so far. Chaos has between 1,300 and 3,000. Oh, 58. So he's up to 186. Still not doing so well. Not doing so hot right now. Temper,
Lightning
good idea.
Back-to-back Lightning 2s are the spell list for Chaos now. Here comes the Vorpal from Edge with 6 hits.
6 hits, but 97 damage. 293 so far. You might as well throw another Temper down. I know that cost your last nuke, but...
Thunder.
Gone.
From Chaos dispatches the Red Wizard of Edgeworth. Down to the Knights. This was probably his plan. 289 from the Mazwoon. Here comes the Vorpal for 5 hits. 165. There's the nuke. Oh, no, down goes the other Knight. Edgeworth is down on 1 knee. He's got less than 50 HP. Hold A to win, Edgeworth. It's the Vorpal versus Chaos.
Gone. Oh,
Edgeworth.
Wow. And the race continues.
1 hour, 38 minutes is the first wipe. He's got information. 2 Lightning 2s. There's a nuke in there. The Thunder skill from Chaos. Edgeworth made pretty quick work at the Temple of Fiends here to get to Chaos. The other nuke was with Carry too, I believe. So he's got some information. He's diving right back in though.
Yeah. Oh man. And it's an instant. It was an instant nuke from Carry too. I would.
Yeah.
I would hold on to those nukes and nail those temper spells against Chaos, because Chaos has a high absorb.
Lost in all this right now, in the wipe from Edgeworth and the information and the big fight with Chaos, FuchsiaFantasy has made his way pedal to the metal, take no prisoners. He's on Lich trying to light his 4th orb.
there it is. Lich will see you in about 5 minutes.
see you again 2,000 years ago in
5 minutes.
Fantasy now. Yeah. Headed directly for the Temple of Fiends Revisited. Edgeworth entered at 1 hour 30 minutes. Took him 8 minutes to get to Chaos. Fuchsia Fantasy has entered, we're going to call it 1 hour 40 minutes.
Yeah. 9 minutes 54 seconds, that's the difference. I mean, soccer. If you look at like a soccer game, it's like Fuchsia Fantasy was up 3-0, and after like 60 minutes, and then Edgeworth somehow scores 6 goals in the next 20 minutes, and now Fuchsia Fantasy scored another three goals, and now we're into extra time. That's the only analogy I can think of.
Yeah, I like that analogy, definitely. Terranix, if you're still here, you asked about something a little bit earlier here in the chat room. I'm going to call this right now. We just saw it. Very subtle. I think this was a veteran move from Edgeworth that he just did. He took on the 7 green Medusas. Earlier on, he ran from them. I can only think that taking that fight, he's trying to probably get an easier shot at getting another level because he knows the nuke is coming from Carry 2, and he knows that Chaos has a nuke down the line in his spell list.
Meanwhile, here's Fuchsia Fantasy. Let's remember that Fuchsia Fantasy is level 25 or 26. Way up there for a tournament race. At least in this tournament.
I don't think there's much that can stop Fuchsia Fantasy right here. Yes, there is the nukes. Yes, they're both coming. I like his gear, his equipment, and he obviously knows that he made a mistake, and he's going to look to probably attack and take out Fiends a little bit faster than he maybe normally would, knowing his opponent and the situation.
Yeah,
we are tied. Lich 2 has
just
just been taken down by Edgeworth. Fuchsia Fantasy now fighting Lich 2.
Yeah, and Fuchsia's going to catch up. He's going to catch up. Wow.
Oh, yeah.
What a race this is. And here's another advantage of Fuchsia Fantasy. Life 2. Fuchsia's got it. Edge does not.
He's got a White Wizard. 379 hit points on that White Wizard. Good position to withstand that nuke blast from Carry 2.
What are we going to do here? Gonna use that Lip 3?
There it is.
Oh!
Got the Red Wizard with the nuke Carry did. Same as last time. Edgeworth has life spells. He's going to use them right here. Fuchsia Fantasy honing in on Carry 2 and her first shot nuke as well.
Now, is there going to be an attack out of Carry here? Let's find out.
It could be a melee attack. Fuchsia Fantasy could potentially take out Carry 2 quicker. Not even stats. 224 from Fuchsia using a fast. Ink. The ink skill. Oh. This is potentially big.
Oh man, Edge would have loved to see the ink spell at this point. Or
Tornado.
Even the okay.
What a 10 hits for 873 out the Mazmoon. Wow.
I give up. I'm out of here.
Ink and Tornado skills came out from Carry 2 against Fuchsia Fantasy. They're on the same floor now. Edgeworth honing in on Kraken 2. Kraken 2 went down pretty easy last time for Edgeworth. Fuchsia Fantasy making a huge run here. Almost to Kraken 2. Oh, ran right through the entire water. He's on Kraken 2 now.
Oh,
wow.
Unbelievable.
Wow. Level advantage, Game Boy. You talked about it. Level advantage for Fuchsia Fantasy. Dual Kraken 2 fights. Fuchsia with the fast. He's got a White Wizard. Yeah. There's the Vorpal from the Red Wizard now for Edgeworth. Kraken has fast? That didn't matter.
Yeah, it didn't matter. It didn't matter there, but look who's stunned over on Fuchsia's side.
Uh-oh. Edgeworth is through Kraken 2. Cure 4, veteran move here from Fuchsia Fantasy. Using Cure 4 in battle will cure your status ailments. He immediately Cure 4s the knight to get him off the paralysis.
I am not debating that, declaring that a veteran move, man. Bane, see you later, Mr. Top Knight there.
Lost a knight. Fuchsia Fantasy has lost the Meat Shield Inferno from Kraken against Fuchsia. Meanwhile, Edgeworth 1 floor ahead now and Tiamat 2. Tiamat absolutely obliterates the Red Wizard of Edgeworth. He's down to the knight.
Fortunately, yep, there it is. Life is there, so okay.
Fuchsia Fantasy is through Kraken 2. On his way to Tiamat 2. Edgeworth can out Tiamat 2.
I don't know if Edge got the minimum damage required to kill Chaos, so we still don't know if Chaos has a lot of HP or not, so...
Right. We know Lightning, we know his spell list. Lightning 2, Lightning, and there's a nuke in there as well. 3 spells down the list. We didn't see any skills from what I remember. Nuclear is a skill. We saw Tornado earlier. And also the melee attacks, of course. Fuchsia Fantasy has the defense sword and the white shirt. Edgeworth does not.
Yeah, and then so the ribbons are gonna go on to the knights, so... And he's just gonna keep the 2 knights at the lead positions. Here we go. Why not use a heal staff?
Heal staff, interesting. 1 damage. There's the Lightning 2. Chaos directly to his spell book. There's the Mazmoon. 4 hits. 250.
Yeah, gonna need more of those.
There's the second Lightning 2 from Chaos now. Closer and closer to nuke. Edgeworth knows this. There's the Vorpal. Ineffective at this point. A fast into the Vorpal, though. That's gonna help.
Yeah, 550 HP down. Well, there we go. 690 now.
Melee attack from Chaos puts a dent into Lar, the knight. Cure, heal 3.
Yeah, I was gonna say, better think about healing, man.
Chaos gets up a physical attack against Buzz, the Vorpal wielder. After that, Edgeworth gets a heal 3 out. Perfect timing. 6 hits now from the Mazmoon, 500 damage.
1,460 point advantage over Fuchsia.
Fuchsia Fantasy has entered this now. He's on Chaos. Thunder into Edgeworth. Uh-oh. Edgeworth is down now, but 6 hits! There it is! Edgeworth takes down Chaos. He's won this game!
Wow. So Edge wins in one of the most bizarre seeds and one of the most bizarre races I've ever seen. And he wins 146-43.
Wow.
I have no words for how this race went.
What a match. GG's and congratulations to Edgeworth. Come from behind victory. He wiped in Temple of Fiends and still won. He was up against an opponent that was over leveled, just tailing him, coming after him, almost passed him a couple times. Edgeworth, your victor tonight. He moves to 1-0, best of 3 against Fuchsia Fantasy. We're gonna try to get Edgeworth in here to talk about the seed.
And
it is Edgeworth.
Ouch. 1,161 damage to knock out Chaos over on Fuchsia's side. Finishes 148 flat, a 77-second difference after leads of up to 13 minutes, really on both sides.
Yeah, wow. Is that an Edgeworth that we have joining us in the booth?
Hello.
Edge, it's Will, Game Boy F9 here. Congratulations, GG's. Come from behind victory. You probably wouldn't know that at this point. How are you feeling about the match?
Oh, I felt like I was behind as soon as I saw that damn canoe in Earth. And when you last checked that, and I had the feeling that Fuchsia probably didn't last check that. So
your feeling would have been correct. We've got some information. Fuchsia Fantasy got the chime and the volcano at the 6-minute mark. You got the chime and the volcano right around 9-minute mark. There were a few subtle differences. Obviously, what you just said, you're dead on accurate about with the Marsh Cave. Game Boy, go ahead and tell them how Edgeworth was able to surpass Fuchsia Fantasy late game?
Fuchsia did something that I have done in the past in my Dragon Warrior Randomizer runs that you would be familiar with. He forgot to visit Sarda and get the run.
I almost forgot that too. I don't know if you saw me leave C.
Yes. I've got it in my notes. That was one of my next questions. You left Onrak in the Sea Shrine area with Oxy to head down to Sarda. We definitely did. Edge, I had one question. You were in the volcano. You found the Aegis shield. You went into your armor screen, moved things around. You had 2 nights. Did you know you didn't get the Aegis shield?
Nope.
Okay.
And you might have noticed that I've been laughing through this interview quite a bit. That's how much I am beside myself, to be honest with you. This was quite the seed, and really a blast to be able to commentate this with. And I'm sorry, I'm like.
Edge, the decision to go to Marsh Cave over Earth Cave. Myself and Game Boy talked about it. We looked at it as a coin flip. Based upon having the Mystic Key, I tended to favor the Marsh Cave. What made you make your decision to try that to dig out the canoe?
I mean, it was early enough, and I had 3 warp charges, so clearing, digging through it wouldn't have been too bad. If I get to, like, the vampire chest and there's nothing in Earth, I feel like I've probably lost. But I think digging out Marsh, you still have a chance.
You perished, it took you 8 minutes. You entered the Temple of Fiends at 90 minutes. You perished to Chaos and the nuke at 1 hour, 38 minutes, 8 minutes later. You went right back in. Did the game and Chaos feel beatable to you, even after knowing it went, Thunder as the skill, Lightning 2, and then Nuke?
Yeah, and I felt like I just rolled super low on some of the hits. Like, I don't know if you noticed, like, Mazmune, it was, like, double hit for, like, 300 and then 500 the second time through. First time, I couldn't buy a crit to save my life. Team Vorpal let me down.
Well, the Vorpal is mystical. You must potentially believe. I know you've explored those options. There's a good question. Have you considered exploring those mystical options furthermore of the Vorpal?
You must be a true believer before it will bestow its gifts upon you.
Yes.
So we welcome Fuchsia Fantasy to the commentary booth. Good game.
I don't think it was very good.
It was good. It was good.
Ed was good. Me was not so good.
I've done that before. I know exactly why you're saying that, and in my randomizer runs, I've done that. So I definitely feel for you.
Well, it's like almost every time I get the airship, first thing I do, go to Sarda. But I didn't do that this time for whatever reason. I didn't do that. And I thought the whole game, I visited Sarda. What am I worrying about? So I'm digging Sea Shrine, and I'm digging Sky Castle for the rod. And then I go, okay, well, next on the itinerary is Ice Rod. Yeah, I orphaned this area, but, I mean, it's 13 chests. Well, Marsh is 13 chests. Might be there, and maybe Edge had some problems, which apparently he did, because he finished like a minute before me. And I'm like, just in case, let's visit Sarda just to make sure I didn't screw up. Well, there's the rod. And I'm like, oh, crap.
Fuchsia, I'd like to ask you the same question I asked Edgeworth. Early on, you knew there was 2 locations. We were all pretty sure the next progression item was the canoe. It could have been the chime. We weren't exactly sure, but both of you knew, as did we. It was either Earth Cave or Marsh Cave. What drove you to Earth?
More chests. Plus, there is no marsh. There never was a marsh. We've always done that word.
Wow.
Fuchsia, Edge entered the Temple of Fiend at the 90-minute mark. 8 minutes later, he was on Chaos, did perish to the nuke that took him down. He re-entered. You guys were neck and neck. You were on the same floor the whole way through, essentially. The Temple of Fiends were visited. You were on Chaos at the same time. It was a great match. Were you upset about the mermaids being a bust, Fuchsia?
I kind of expected mermaids to be a bust, but I was looking for the rod, which I didn't have to at the time. Had I had the rod and I was in go mode, no way I'm going to mermaids.
Mm-hmm. My name is Will Clear. I'm going to go ahead and sign out. Next matchup. 2 minutes. It's sister broadcast partner. It's going to be on Speed Gaming, their family of networks, Speed Gaming 4. The #1 ranked buzzsaw, Minochi85, takes on the Dragon Warrior champion, High Spirits, in just a couple minutes over on Speed Gaming 4. Myself and Tyrannex, another Dragon Warrior player, will be joining me on the call there. It's going to be a great matchup. We certainly invite you to join us over there. I'm going to go ahead and sign out. Game Boy, what a pleasure working with you.
It's absolute pleasure and quite
yes, sir.
Yeah, quite the seed. What a way to join up for the first time. We'll have to do that again sometime.
Yes, sir. So thank you for having me. Randomania, Ali Gerbrat for doing the tracking, Game Boy F9, who also did the restreaming here. Thank you very much. Edge, Fuchsia, GG's, great game. I can't wait for the rematch. I'll be there.
GG.
Bye-bye.
All right, I'll go ahead and wrap it up. We are going to go to Speed Gaming. I'm actually going to go to Speed Gaming 4. We'll host that, so you can enjoy that next match. But if you want to see something different, you could head over to Randomania 2. They're doing a board game RPG called Mutants and Masterminds over there, so you can check that out. And you can come back at 10:30 tonight on Randomania for a Legend of Zelda Battle Royale race. 2 race. It's doubleheader. And it's really, it's very unique. Random Effect and Redbird Grad as a team will face off Thurwolf and JSR. So, for Will Cleosis, I am Game Boy F9. We hope you've enjoyed tonight's race. And here comes High Spirits, Minochi85. You're watching Randomania. Good night.